very warm welcome to When the Dust Settles once again with me. It's your guy Jason Booker. Thank you for dropping in. I'm just going to very quickly drop the link for this stream on my Twitter, so just bear with me, skip on if you are watching this back, while I get my kind of all my ducks in a row with the whole streaming live game. It is going to be a little bit janky at times, so just bear with me 1 second. Welcoming all Leeds fans. I hope that you've had a fantastic week. As Leeds fans, we've had a really great time. It certainly has been a pleasing week in comparison to what we've had to kind of put up with more recently. In terms of results, this is not in terms of performances, in my very humble opinion. I'm not sure where I get it from through Streamlabs. I want the link to then post. Stream. Maybe I just go to YouTube direct. Maybe that'll be the way to do it. Gotta get some of these little bits right before they are perfect. Straight talking Leeds. Let's try that. If I go on there, it doesn't show me as live. Why is it not showing me as live? Oh, there. Talking Leeds. Let's try that. Okay, so maybe that's how we do it. Okay. It doesn't show me as live. Okay, fine. Twitter. Okay, there we go. Right. So, hopefully that didn't take too long. What, a couple of minutes maybe? Hopefully people will just skip by until when we are chatting if they're watching this back. Leeds United 3, Liverpool 3 on the back of Wednesday night, which saw Leeds United run out 3-1 victors over Chelsea. And that was on the back of a fantastic second half against Manchester City, a week in which we've played Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool. Most fans expected nothing. Truthfully, I expected something from the home games. I didn't think we would lose both. Proven that we actually can take 4 points. We could have on another day maybe even snatched a winner if we hadn't have conceded the third when we did against Liverpool. We've shown resilience in certainly the City and the Liverpool games to come back in both. Liverpool, we then see out a point at Ellen Road. Ellen Road is absolutely vital to our season. It is absolutely vital to our season. Now, on the back of this week, a lot of the fans that said Daniel Farke wouldn't score another point, he wouldn't get another win, is what they said, are still not happy. And as the title kind of suggests, my take on this at this stage is, it's personal. It's just simply personal towards the manager. After game week 15, we find ourselves outside of the bottom three. We find ourselves with Wolves, Nottingham Forest and West Ham all three established Premier League clubs in and around the positions that are below us in the table. The fans said we won't be out of the bottom three after this run of games. Where do we find ourselves, Daniel Farke haters? Where do we find ourselves, Leeds fans? We find ourselves outside of the bottom three. At this stage, any Farke hater, I can understand a detractor. I can understand maybe not being in love with the style of football at times, which I've got my problems with in terms of agreeing with that. I think some fans' expectations are wildly over-egged. But at this stage, it's personal. And you just need to kind of accept the fact that it's personal. And you would enjoy your season so much better if you could start coming to terms with the fact that the man at the helm is actually doing a really great job. He's not just surviving. At the minute, he's actually overachieving. Now, I know there's a certain section of the fan base that want to believe that this team is better than what it is. It's simply not. It's as simple as that. It's not even, for me, it's not even close to being a guaranteed safety team. You know, the teams that are in and around that area of the division at the moment, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, Brentford, Newcastle are in that area, Spurs are in that area, Manchester United are in that area. They are levels and levels and levels better than what we are in terms of the squad capability, in terms of the attributes that these players have. They are levels and levels above us. Yet Daniel Farke and this squad together, it's not just an individual thing, them together are bridging the gap and they are making it possible for us to stand a chance of staying up. Now there's a fair chance that we might still go down. You know, we are still going to be in this all season. I've been saying this for weeks. We need to show the stomach. We need to show the resolve as a fan base to drag them over the line, kicking and screaming at Ellen Road. Now, these two games that have just gone, the fans have done that. They've been brilliant. And Daniel Farke deserves a lot of credit for following up the Manchester City comeback, if you want to call it that, by playing the 5-3-2 at Ellen Road against Chelsea. That helped. It really helped. The tactic alone helped, but then also the reaction from the fan base helped. Now, you saw against Liverpool, it's not just a perfect solution. All of the problems now are just not sorted because of the changing formation. Now, people want to also label at his door that he's now changed. He's now capable of changing all of a sudden during the game because he's been switching it from a 3-5-2 to a 4-3-3. That's nonsense. There is changes during every single game. There's a couple of things that come up with that, however, is that number one, we haven't ordinarily through the 2 seasons with Daniel Farke needed to change that much because we've been so dominant, because plan A has worked so well. And B, we're now at a completely different level of playing field in which the opposition are so much better than us that most of the time, even when he does change, it isn't going to matter anyway. Everton at home, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle at home have all shown different variations of the 4-3-3. The jobs and the roles within the tactic, within the formation that have changed. But as a casual fan, you can't see it. Because you don't, as fans, we don't watch the game in the same way that a manager does. We don't understand the game in the same way as the players do that are out there doing the job. So you have to understand that you are maybe seeing it dead clearly when there's a switch to a 3-5-2, which is so evidently different. Some of it is coincidence, some of it is that it's right, but to not give the manager now any credit is just making it personal. It's as simple as that. The manager, for me, deserves the utmost credit for what's gone on over the last week. You know, the shift to the 4-3-3 in the second half against Liverpool when we were chasing the game was massive. But it wasn't just a change to a 4-3-3. It was instructional to get at Conor Bradley down the right-hand side along with Ibrahima Konate. And it made a massive difference. Brendan Aronson was coming all the way over from the left to join in with the attacks. Nonto played extremely well. Anton Stack was coming over from his side of the midfield to join in the attacks down that side, along with Gabby Goodmanson as well. Now, fans will just be like, X player played well, without giving any sort of credit or you know, kind of understanding to the manager's part in what happened in that second half. You know, Joe Rodon makes a big mistake. Some fans would, if we'd have gone on to lose that game 1-0, some fans would have had Daniel Farke fully to blame, but without blaming Joe Rodon for the mistake. Joe Rodon, by the way, has been excellent for Leeds United. No hate at his door. Mistakes happen. But the point is that when a player makes a mistake, it's the manager's fault. When a player does something great, it's on the player. That's the way that most fans look at the footballing landscape. They don't give any, retrospective kind of acceptance of an improvement or a skill or credit to the manager when something goes right. It's all down to the players and the way that the players have then played. So, I just think at this point, if you are unhappy still, if you are still calling for Daniel Farke's head after the week that we've just had, I scratch my head at where your expectations are for Leeds. I've said this for weeks. I've said this before this run. When we found ourselves in the bottom three, I was saying exactly the same thing. For me, nothing has changed from before Manchester City to now. We've played well against Chelsea, but we were playing well before Man City. Yes, we've had some difficult away days, and I'd agree with that, and I do think there's an away performance issue. It'll be interesting to see if the 5-3-2 implemented away from home will then heed some more success. However, teams don't win games away from home in the Premier League very often. Go and look at the table. Go and look at the away table now, it'll tell you that. Go and look at the away table last season and the season before. You don't win many games away from home. In the season that Nottingham Forest stayed up and we went down, they won one away game all season. Go and check it. One away game all season. It is absolutely vital that we maintain the success and the attitude and the performances that we are doing at home, and we will. Ellen Road is a great equaliser, and I truly believe that these players need that kind of freedom of Ellen Road, the drive of Ellen Road, the passion of Ellen Road to bridge the gap of quality. I talk about the bridging the gap of quality all the time, and on so many occasions this season, even in defeat, this team has bridged the gap of quality. They have. So, where do we go from here now? I think the run up to Christmas is going to be massive. We've got a couple of really tricky away games. Brentford, Sunderland, both in between now and the new year. We've got Crystal Palace at home as well. I think that's the 3 games that we've got left. They're going to be tricky. And again, we might come out of them with only 1 point, 2 points, maybe no points. Who knows? In the Premier League, teams lose back-to-back games fairly regularly. It's not that uncommon. As long as we don't lose touch and we stay within battle and the performances are showing that there's capabilities of getting results there, we have to maintain confidence and belief that we can make this happen. I'm really, really delighted that Daniel Farke has turned the corner in terms of results, because I think the performances, as I say, I think we've played better than the Chelsea performance this season, and sometimes not got results. So I really do believe in the fact that the man that can keep us up out of the available options for Leeds United is going to be Daniel Farke. I don't believe that we would see a replacement come through the door that would get a better reaction, that would be able to set us up better with what we've got. January could be key. I think if we're going to stick to the 3-5-2, I think a striker is vital. I think Calvert-Lewin has been unbelievable, but he's injury prone, as is Lucas Mecha, which we found on Saturday. The introduction of Noah Okafor in the striker position is a worry for me. I don't think he's got it in the legs. I don't think he's that kind of player. He's not got the pressing. He's not got the aerial kind of combativeness that the other two have got. Calvert-Lewin was very isolated with doing all of the rough and tumble work on Saturday, whereas against Chelsea, Mecha did half of it, and we were able to beat them up. We bullied the centre-backs, and Okafor kind of gives them a little bit of an easier ride, unfortunately. It does leave us with a bit of a problem, and Joe Perreault's the same kettle of fish. He's nothing like Calvert-Lewin or Mecha either. So we're going to have a little bit of a problem in that area of the pitch until we see a replacement. And I would even potentially look at who we can sell on. Joe Perreault would be a potential that I would maybe look at moving on. We'd be able to still fetch a decent fee for him. I think there'd be some teams at the top of the Championship that will pay in and around 20 million for Joe Perreault. We're still quite a long time on his contract. As much as he won't want to drop down the standard and the level, at the minute he just isn't what we need. I think he could probably do it at Premier League level in the right system, but for Leeds United right now, he's just not it with what we need, given what we've got in and around the team. He hasn't got enough creative players around him to be able to put him into them positions to get the chances to score. He needs to do too much in the build-up in this system, and that's just not Joe Perreault's game. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting few weeks. I think on the back of these two great results, I think we really, really need to go to Brentford next Sunday and at least get a point. I would take a point right now. I would snap your hand off with a point. A lot of people will say, no, Jay, we need to go there and win. It's nonsense. You hopefully now, after 15 games of the Premier League, have started to understand the landscape of how precious away points are. Burnley away, we lost. Fulham away, we lost, albeit in unfortunate circumstances. A point away from home would be absolutely huge towards us staying up this season. So I'm going to do a preview before the Brentford game. I'm going to come back on and discuss them as well in more detail. I do need to drop off now because I've got a meeting at 1 o'clock. Hopefully these will start becoming a little bit more lively, and over time we can start building up a little bit of a community. I would love to hear your comments, so please do drop us a comment. I'll answer them all. Subscribe to the channel, like the video as well, and let's get this moving as much as we possibly can. So yeah, until next time, probably Thursday, I will see you